What is up, guys? Top Deck here, and happy Banlist Eve. The banlist is now in effect, and people are now trying to figure out what their decks are going to look like, how they're going to change, and this is what this video is all about. I'm going to show you what the format might change to, what are the big meta decks, what are the rogue options that you can play, and just really how the decks are going to look like from now on until the next banlist. So, let's get straight into it. Starting with Monarchs, as you can see here. Very standard build, this is my personal build. Because of the hits to Upstart and Chicken Game, consistency was hit a little bit to Monarchs. Of course, Monarchs were known to be very inconsistent at times, bricking most often than not. So, I think people are going to play triple Kuraz, triple Return, just in order to get that search power off, and also the draw power still with Kuraz is very, very good. So I do see these cards bumping from, you know, say 1 or 2 now to 3, same with Return from 1 to 3, I think. Because E-Telly was hit, I do believe running Blue Layer or Ghost Ogre, well, Ghost Ogre is for the XYZ build, we'll get on to that, but especially with Blue Layer, it's just not really worth it. You might get some really janky hands, so people are now just running the triple Red Layer in their deck just for that tribute fodder, and is very, very good to loop. It dodges Veiler still, but the deck is a little more immune to Maxi because of the special summoning that you have. And talking about Maxi I can see being mained because 2 out of the 3 decks, or best decks I should say, is very special summon heavy. So I do see Maxi seeing a lot of play, especially in the main, doubles, triple copies, even the side deck, but I definitely see this card being mained in most decks, definitely. This card is very good against PK Fire. It's reasonably good against Cosmos as well. And I just see this card being mained. It's very, very good. So, also with the XYZ build, taking a little hit, again, like I said, with E-Telly, so might not be worth running the Ghost Ogre to go into those level 8 synchros, such as Cypher Omega or Stardust Dragon, say. But, I mean, the XYZ build is still very, very good. You still have the options of running the Brilliant Fusion engine, along with, you know, Garnet, Seraph Knight. And you have a ton of lights in your deck, especially dumping an Edia to grab back Banished Pantheas and Banished anything, would create some really nice plays. The XYZ build is still fairly good. You know, the XYZ build is still spamming out the rank 8s with, obviously, you'd play triple the original Monarch, and obviously triple Red Layer as well. And you'd still be able to spam rank 5s, such as a Durandal or a Pleiades or whatever you're playing, and also spamming out rank 8 such as Titanic Galaxy or Felgrand. I think it's very, very good, although in my opinion, when the format starts to really settle, I just think the domain build will favor over the XYZ build, sorry, just because it has a very, very good matchup against PK Fire, or Burning Abyss Pure, just because if they don't open Twin Twist MSTs, then they just can't do anything. It's as simple as that. I just think this build will be favored over the XYZ build. Of course, Monarchs, Cosmos don't really care about domain. The attack boost is nice to get over the ships, but they're just gonna float anyway. So yeah, and also Twin Twisters we could possibly see going into the main, 2 to 3 copies. Definitely looks like it, because PK Fire is starting to become really, really popular, and it's trap heavy. You really want to see this card, maybe in game 1 as well, take game 1. But I definitely see this card being mained as well. So let's move on to Cosmos. So now on to Cosmos. This is a fairly standard build. So after the ban list, we see Reasoning has gotten hit to 1, and E-Telly has dropped from 3 to 2. So not really big hits to Cosmos, it's still fairly the same build as it was before. But because Allure has jumped up from 1 to 2, the deck has gotten a little boost in consistency. Now running Allures at 2, I think will be very standard. We'll see a lot of builds running this main, I think, just because the recyclability with Cosmo Town really means like Allure's cost is nothing. And of course, because Reasoning was hit, people will start to play 2 to 3 Sword Troopers, because, well, Cosmo players were deciding whether Sword Troopers were better or Reasoning was better, but because Reasoning is limited, we see the Sword Troopers is going to be much more popular. People may run 2 to 3, and obviously if you want more targets for Allure, even though you have a lot of targets already with Dark Destroyer, Eclipser, Wicked Witch, and Sword Troopers as well, you might bump Sword Troopers to 3 if you want. It's still very good. Again, with Max C, it's probably going to be mained just because of PK Fire and Burning Abyss Pure are much more popular now in this format. Max C is very good, especially in the mirror match as well. Could stop your opponent from doing things, and then you're able to OTK maybe. I'm not too sure. I'm not a Cosmo player, but I just think Maxi is very good, and again we'll see a lot of these big decks maining 2 to 3 here. Nothing has changed with the trap lineup either. People might want to play Oasis of Dragon Souls, which is very good. It's basically called the Haunted. Just gives you the more options to summon from graveyard. Solemn Brigade, we know, still untouched, still very good. We might possibly see this main maybe dropped for more consistency, I'm not sure. But yeah, obviously because new support is coming out as well, we still don't know what it is, but you know, cards such as maybe Twin Twisters might be dropped, maybe the Solemn Brigade as well for that new support, if it's any good. So we might find out. Obviously Twin Twisters, triple, maybe double in the main, I can see happening, just because again, PK Fire, very popular, and it has those traps, it's running those traps, and this deck is very vulnerable to the Solemn Brigade itself, so popping those Solemns before you do anything is very good. With the release of the Floating Ghost and Cherry Blossom, hopefully this is the English name, because, well, we all know what happened to Yuki Usagi and Ghost Toka. But this deck is going to be very good, especially for its BA matchup, because in your extra, you know, you can take cards out like Dragon, Felgrand, or like Nightmare Shark, or just things you won't really make. And put in Dante's Ignistas, and then you play this, or side it, and you're basically good for that matchup. And obviously you could play the 1-for-1 as well, just to get your Tin Can off as soon as possible. And again, side deck options like Magic Deflector, Master of Strix, and Anti-Spell Fragrance, I think are still going to be very popular in this deck. So let's move on to the very popular PK Fire or Burning Abyss. On to PK Fire, this deck has just risen in popularity, and it is very good. You cannot underestimate this deck. This deck will explode and kill you. It is no joke. This deck is very good. Obviously, BA's Pure are also very popular, just due to the release of Beatrice, really. Beatrice is very good. It is a monster trap card. It can send, you know, things like Farfar and Alich or Calcab to stop your opponent's plays, so you don't have to rely on raw drawing trap cards. So obviously we saw YCS Houston top 32, there was 7 PK Fires and 2 Pure BA in the top 32. So we see PK Fire very more popular than the BA build, BA Pure, just because I feel this deck is much more versatile, bringing out these dark rank 4s such as Key Beetle to protect any of your cards, or OTK with Dark Rebellion, XYZ Dragon. And again, just, PK is searching out the trap and searching out each other, and special summoning with Silent Boots is very, very good, I think. It's very, very versatile. This deck is just really, really good, really fun as well. The extra deck is really tight. We see, obviously, triple Dante because this has Burning Abyss in with the PKs. The PK engine is favored to be a little smaller than, say, a BA engine, so running triple Dante is a must. People are definitely running 2 F-Zeros, I think, just to get around those Cosmo ships, because getting around those Cosmo ships is very, very difficult. People might choose to play Breaksword at 3, maybe, and same with Beatrice as well. The extra deck is very, very tight. People might want to choose to main mask change 2 and have that option to Dark Law, especially in the mirror. It's very, very good. But people might choose not to play that, play more consistent cards, maybe Allure. Again, we see Triple Maxi main. It's amazing in the mirror. Again, pretty good against Cosmos, and it favors well against Super Quantum Monarchs and the XYZ Monarchs. Triple Twin Twister, want to deal with those backer, especially against Monarchs, where you really want to get rid of their domain so you can make your plays. After Shining Victories, Floating Ghost and Cherry Blossom might be a huge blowout in the mirror, especially in the pure. We've seen people talking about a Melkoda build just because of this card. I don't think it'll be that defining. Again, it's unsearchable, but it could make the mirror matches a little bit sacky, which really isn't fun. People might choose to play Vanities, maybe. Again, for the side deck options, people will either main. I know my friend's maining Anti-Spell, very annoying because I'm a Monarch player, but people are probably definitely going to side Anti-Spells, and Master Restricts, of course. And people might drop the traps and play or main the Kaiju, such as Glimmy Seal, the Kaiju Dark Hole as well. It's very, very good. We have seen a few people have done it already, where they've just run trapless and some more monster control, which is really, really cool. But yeah, this deck is going to be very, very popular. It's very explosive. This is no joke. But this deck is very, very good, and probably one of the top contenders for the meta. Same with, obviously, Cosmos and Monarchs. So moving on to your rogue options. And moving on to the rogue decks that we will see with this format. So starting with Despots, I think we'll definitely see a lot more Despots after Shining Victories, just because we get the Despot 09, which is very, very good, and Despot Base, which can boost consistency for the deck. The deck can be very anti-meta as well. It can run a lot of traps as well. So keep your eye out on Despots. You'll most likely see a few at locals and regionals as well, and we might see, a couple tops here and there to YCS maybe, but definitely keep your eye on Despots. After Shining Victories, Lunar Lights might be a little popular after Shining Victories. Again, it's like Fluffles. It's a very good OTK deck, but I mean, you could possibly see this deck floating around somewhere. Raid Raptors after Shining Victories, I think will be fairly popular in the rogue section of decks, just because, making Ultimate Falcon is very, very good. Of course, it needs a couple turns to set up. It's very slow. It is definitely not like a one-turn Cliffort Towers deck, but it is still very good. Again, BAs might main or side the Kaijus, so BAs and PKs might not need to worry about this deck at all. And so, yeah, but definitely another good rogue option would be Raid Raptors. Mermails, Atlantean Mermails, I think will still be viable. I think it'll definitely be rogue because we've seen Norton get hit now. But the deck is still very good at OTKing nonetheless. So we'll definitely see Mermail Atlanteans floating around locals, regionals. And Draco Pals, just because Konami absolutely destroyed them, I think. People are just gonna find out a way to make this deck work. It might not be amazing, might not be the best deck, but we'll definitely see this this deck, you know, soldier on, and I'm sure someone will come up with a new Pepe deck, or, you know, mixing it with Magic Spectres or Magicians as well. So those are the rogue options. That's pretty much it for the video. I know it's a little bit long, but I'm just, you know, this video is just discussing what this format will look like, what all these decks would look like. Obviously, we might see a triangle meta form when we're, you know, into the guts, the belly of this format. Obviously, we'll see Monarchs, Cosmos, and BA Pure or PK Fire all contend with each other in the top. As the top decks, and obviously we'll see some of these rogues as well. And yes, so this format hasn't really changed from the last, excluding Dragon Pals maybe, but that's my view on it. Please, you know, comment, tell me what your thoughts on this coming format is, what you guys are running in your builds because of the hits that the ban list took. What are you now maining, what are you siding and such. So let me know in the comments down below. Like, share the video, share the love, and hope you enjoyed. So, always remember and pray for that top deck.